Welcome back to the Blue Chip, everybody. My name is Eric, and this episode is a little different, so let's start it off a little different. One of the major problems facing people suffering from one or many mental illnesses is when they are told they are messed up so many times that they start to believe it themselves. One of the first and major changes these people need to work on is changing their outlook and viewpoints of themselves so they can finally believe that they are someone who is redeemable and worth the effort. Let's talk about perspective. I am writing this script at 3 a.m. That's right, a script, because it's time to raise the bar. Today is an unusual episode because although I am typing the words for this episode, this script was actually written by these. That's right, a skateboard and a pair of shoes attached to feet. My feet, to be exact. It would be weird if it were any other's feet. I mean, I don't even know what kind of joke that was supposed to be, but whatever. As someone who suffers from ADHD, it is hard to make my head quiet. My thoughts never stop. Almost never, I should say. When I'm on a skateboard and the music is playing in my ears, I have moments of peace. I mean, a rarity for me. So rare that actually when the first time I took my Adderall as an adult was the first time I understood what quiet really was. It shocked me how quiet was. But when I'm on my board and the music is pounding in my ears, I wouldn't call it quiet, but that it gives me a certain focus. And that's why I went out tonight. I wanted to really get that inspiration because I want to be the best, the very best, like no one ever was. That's a Pokemon joke, guys. I hope you caught that. I'm pretty sure anyone who's watching this knows what Pokemon is. But anyway, I grabbed my board and I just allowed myself to get lost in my own head in the middle of downtown Houston. Let's talk about perspective. According to my quick Google search, perspective is defined as a particular attitude toward or way of regarding something, or a point of view. I talked a bit in length on my video Life Lessons Learned the Hard Way about changing a viewpoint to look at things from a different way that allows you to better yourself. The power of perspective cannot be overstated. If you take a look at this picture I took last night and compare it to this one, that is the same wall, but just changing my viewpoint on the same wall gave me a completely different appreciation for this random mural. Well, wow, it's almost as if this inspiration was from this picture that I took last night. Wow, it's like a theme I've got going on in this episode. Now, if you take a look at this church, it's a church. It's a symbol of moral sanctuary with homeless people camped outside the door. A sanctuary where homeless are huddled, sleeping outside the door. And when patrons come in on Sundays, they see that stained glass window, and it's a welcome, holy sign to them. But to these homeless, it's all just a place with walls to help block the wind at night. It's all about perspective. I am a failure. I am broken. There is something wrong with me. Now, I've felt all of these sentiments at least at some point in my life. I have had loved ones and friends tell me that I will never be better, and that I should just be honest with myself and accept that, as I will never achieve above of where I was. And after hearing it a lot, I believed them, even though I really didn't believe them. It was hard to dig myself out of the funk created by living surrounded by the regurgitation of my failures by those that I loved. I had to change the way I looked at myself, and I had to change the way I thought about my own mental illness. I tried people-pleasing for so long that I never worked on myself because I thought that if I just did enough for them, they would finally believe in me. If you go check out my video about life lessons learned the hard way, this is a shameless self-promotion. I'll put the link in the description. You should just go check that video out. It's pretty good if you ask me. But I will TLDW it. That's too long. Didn't watch. It's actually not that long. You should go check it out. But in short, I realized that if I put effort in myself, I could be even greater to those around me. But more importantly, I can be better for myself. And once I started working on myself, I realized that I am not a failure. I am not broken. There is nothing wrong with me. I am just different. But in my difference, I am stronger than any of those who doubted me. I may not be perfect. I may make mistakes. But that does not mean I am a failure. And ever since I started working on myself, I gained a new viewpoint about me. I started accomplishing things that I have never been able to do before, and things escalated from there. Self-confidence grew, and my accomplishments started to stack up. And I started to believe in myself again. As I was out on my board, I ran across familiar territory from my past, and I saw things completely different than I used to. My feet and a piece of wood with wheels attached to it led me to a path where the inspiration for this script was found. I was looking at the exact same things I have seen so many times before, but from this new viewpoint, I actually saw inspiration. We may not be perfect. Everything may be awful. Everything may not be okay. We just have to accept ourselves as different, but realize that there is strength in our differences and that we are never hindered by our past mistakes, and we can all be better. It's all about perspective.